Tibetans not to recognize China-appointed Dalai Lama.
Here's a summary of the article.
Tibetan spiritual leader Dalai Lama said no recognition or acceptance would be given to Dalai Lama appointed by the Chinese government for political ends, and Tibetan would only recognize reincarnation recognized through legitimate methods. In a statement, Dalai Lama remarked on the irony of Chinese attempts to seek to recognize his reincarnation and said it is particularly inappropriate for Chinese communists, who explicitly reject even the idea of past and future lives, let alone the concept of reincarnate tulkus, to meddle in the system of reincarnation and especially the reincarnations of the Dalai Lamas and Panchen Lamas. The Dalai Lamas and the Panchen Lamas are regarded by Tibetans as the sun and moon owing to the special spiritual bond they share and their interchangeable role as teacher and disciple. China since 1949 has tried to meddle into the affairs of Tibetan after the government developed its religious policy and the government purged 10th Panchen Lama, one of the towering figures in Tibet, criticizing the government's policies in Tibet. When the Dalai Lama made his choice and declared on 15 May 1995 that Jenden Choki Nyima had been recognized as the 11th Panchen Lama. Little is known about the fate and current state of the candidate that was declared by Dalai Lama as the reincarnation of the 10th Panchen Lama.
This post received a score of 21,888, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Greater than all reincarnating lamas must now seek approval of the state. That might be the most Douglas Adams-y thing I've read in quite some time.
I'd read a bureaucratic take on religions and spirituality. Edit, I mean like, a guy dies and he has to go through the nightmarish asylum madness of being processed, spending years in purgatory trying to get the right forms to fill, hearing the tellers chit-chatting about things like how Jesus got killed over a technicality simply because he hadn't filled the right form to perform miracles as a new messiah, etc.
So more Fyodor Dostoevsky and less Douglas Adams. Spot on, dude. Edit, maybe Gogol too with the whole story about the nose. Or, Franz Kafka even.
Certainly, Kafkaesque hits the nail on the head.
Who is Kafkaesque?
Wouldn't be the first time. China created their own state-controlled branch of the Catholic Church back on the late 50s, and the then Pope Pius XII also told them to pound sand and excommunicated all priests that joined that.
Just like they did to the Anglicans. And the Lutherans and the Anabaptists and the Calvinists. Heck, there's been a few times where there were multiple claimant popes who all excommunicated each other.
Avignon is the true seat of the Pope.
I had my facts muddled. The Avignon papacy were the legitimate popes of their day, but during the time of all the competing popes, which happened directly after the papacy left Avignon and returned to Rome, the popes who sat today in Avignon were not the legitimate popes. And the anti-pope during the legitimate Avignon papacy wasn't in Rome.
So they outpopped the popes?
No, they were the popes. The French king essentially decided to kidnap the pope one day, he did, and made him live in Avignon. Then the Holy Roman Empire, they decided they wanted their own pope, so they elected another one, which is something the Catholic Church of today basically asserts that they had no right to do, so that line of popes is wrong, and the Avignon ones were the real ones.
All I'm hearing is that one guy was more popey than the others.
I get that you're joking, but I'll clarify further. And #X200B. I declare myself the Pope. Now you could say that Pope Francis is the Pope and not me because he's more popey, but really he's the Pope and I'm not because he's the Pope and I'm not.
Sounds like something a Pope would say.
To point out an important point of the article, the current Panchen Lama was kidnapped by the Chinese government in 1995 at 6 years old, never to be seen again, and replaced by another kid. The Panchen Lama is second in authority in Tibetan Buddhism and responsible for choosing next incarnation of Dalai Lama.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.